Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to say thank you for coming to my presentation and to meet you here. I'm Agustiani Putri, a presenter and also one of authors of this paper. Look at this picture. Can you see this picture? Nice. We will continue to finding out what's going here. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to talk about development of mixed ratio board media for helping students visualize the concept of direct and inverse proportion. I shall take 10 minutes of your time. I've divided of my talk into few sections: introduction, method, result in discussion, and also conclusion. Firstly, I'll explain about why mastery of proportion concept is crucial. Mastery of the mathematical concept is entirely required for students in learning mathematics because it contributes to other skills of students in mathematics. Students can learn if they master the mathematical concept. If students have poor mastery of concept, they will be difficult in solving multiplication, determining boundaries, and transforming mathematical representation. They also make some mistake in solving direct and inverse proportion problems. Because what? They are confused about the type of comparison or proportions, direct or inverse. Proportion also provide word problems, so students have opportunity to encounter a difficult to transform abstraction from word problems into mathematical model. As we know that mathematics is abstract in nature, so students require visualize the mathematical concept by using assistants like media or tools. And the best solution in this research is manipulative media because it has constructive principle. This media encourage students to learn independently. Students can find and define the mathematical concept by themselves. And students commonly use the real objects, so they are close to implement their knowledge in their daily life. So we call that as contextual learning media. Students experience attractive activities with this media, so they have enjoyable learning and meaningful learning in mathematics. A significant body of existing literature reveal that they develop some media with assistant tools like application or computer, 3D animated story, Android, bus, comic, check paper, but however, they provide several different activities in one media. They only provide one activity in their media, and maybe they also provide one's materials direct or inverse proportion. So this research is intended to develop a manipulative media called mixed ratio board, which presents several attractive activities for teaching direct and inverse proportion. It's essential for teachers and students. Teachers can communicate mathematics lesson easily, and students can receive the comprehensive understanding about the concept of proportion. We utilize research and development, especially for the model. However, we eliminate the dissemination stage because it takes a long time to conduct it. It will be explored in future study. We use a 3 stage of the study. There are define, design, and develop. This research requires some instruments. Firstly, a validation questionnaire to identify the feasibility level of a mixed ratio board from validators. It includes content, operation, format, and appearance. Subsequently, we use a learning observation questionnaire to determine practicality level on a limited scale. The aspect or criteria assess comprise opening, core, and closing activities. And the last, we also use a student response questionnaire to assess the practicality of this media. Students rate several aspects consisting of display, of substance, language, and appearance, and all instruments mentioned before adopt the Likert scale. The first stage is definition. We analyze characteristics of student, task, and subject matter. we decide to select direct and inverse proportion, and they have a two basic competency, 3.9 and 4.8. And student, we select grade 7, they are at concrete operational stage. They still require concrete object in learning mathematics, so they have motivation better. And this initial analysis was addressed to investigate the basic problems in the construction of a mixed ratio board. The second one, design stage. The type of this ratio board, manipulative, and you can see the design is large board which grays, synthetic grays. They have three several settings or backgrounds. In the left, buildings, in the middle, shop, and the last is farm. The activities that can use of students. Students can assemble small cubes in the form of multi-story building, and in the shop they can put pizza into the box provided, and in the farm they can explore planting corn on the plot of land generated. The experiments can be practiced individually and by several people depending on the instruction they receive from the card selected. This is the description of this media. The dimension you can see in the form a large board made styrofoam with synthetic green grass, which is adjusted in size to cover the entire styrofoam part. The office building, you can see the dimension and some small cubes and the material they used. And in front of the building background, there are question box, and in pizza shop building in the form of blocks. And all pieces of pizza are made by paper with the bottom line with cardboard shape like a circular net. And a farm background filled with the land ready to be planted with corn in a rectangular shape, measuring the dimension, and we just made a brown synthetic grass and styrofoam covered by yellow color. The concept of direct inverse proportion is explained this one. First one, the concept of direct comparison farm setting can be discovered when more corn planted by a student, the more time it will take. And while the inverse proportion, we can find the students when more students plant corn, the less time they have. The concept of direct proportion in the pizza store can be found when the more pieces of pizza in the same quantity are put in a box, then the more boxes are required. While inverse comparison can be found with the more box used, then the few pieces of pizza are put in the box provided in the number of pizza pieces is the same from the initial experiment. And the last in the building, we can see the direct ratio can be found when more high-rise buildings constructed by one student, the more time it takes. And inversely, when more students will arrange the cube into building, the shorter the time it takes. And the last stage is development. We can see the several assessment, validation, learning observation, and student practice. Validation assessed by 2 mathematics lecturers and 1 teacher. Learning observation evaluated by 2 observers of learning activities, and student practice on using the media assessed by 36 students. Comments from validators, observers, and students. This media is strongly interesting and quite good. Just additional information is required for student worksheet about the limit, the time, and the number of cubes required to arrange buildings. You can see the validation result of a mixed ratio board includes media content, the usage, and design and appearance. We obtain average score 3.63, thereby the resulting validity was 90%. It can be categorized strongly valid. And the second one, the observation of learning. The open activities, core activities, and closing activities, we can obtain 3.75. There with the percentage obtained from the observation of learning activities was 93%, which declared this media was strongly easy to apply by teachers. And the last, the assessment is student respond on the using of this media. Compressed material presentation and language. And we can see the average score is 3.89. And we obtained 67%, meaning that student response were very positive toward the media developed. Thus, on the result, the learning activities observation by applying a mixed ratio board media, it means this media was strongly practical. Okay, the last part is discussion and conclusion. Discussion. This media encourage students to define concept of direct and inverse proportion easily. Since this learning creates concept more concrete, thereby student can easily capture information on learning materials clearly. By Uliani 2021. And this result consistent by Isnania, Angora, and Palupi that mathematics learning is abstract in nature can be concrete by utilizing manipulative media. This review is similar with the current research that learning media encourage students to master concepts in learning mathematics by Supriyadi, and Hakim also reveals that the use of mathematics learning media can facilitate a meaningful and enjoyable learning in experience for students. Sari and Putra also state that the media can motivate students to learn and create non-monotonous classroom conditions. So this media is valid and practical to utilize, and this media is feasible to be practiced in learning activities and can be used by teachers to encourage 7th grade students to grasp the concept of direct and inverse proportion. The operative media promotes students active in learning because they are provided space to interact with friends, practice their cooperation skills, enter processes, and create meaningful and enjoyable learning situations. So if you have any question, you can write down in the column provided by committees. Thank you for your listening. I think my presentation is enough. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.